on your magic beam.
All right!
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Hello, welcome back to Almost Cult Classics, the podcast, a special Sidetracks episode. My name is Joe Ramoni, and with me, my friend and co-host, Ryan Lancello.
Howdy, folks.
So last time on Movie Catch Up, we discussed Happy Gilmore 2, pitching that.
I think I'm still shell-shocked from that. I'm serious. I think like we were talking about this before this, how we're just really like kind of a little bit burnt out on movies, like new movies especially.
Yeah.
Where just there's no excitement or anything. And I think you broke me a little bit because I'm like, that's all I have to look forward to is Joe Ramoni's D-grade material.
Well, so during that discussion, I think you posed a question. You said, "Is Happy Gilmore the best of those early Adam Sandler movies?"
Yeah, I did that.
So I had a little time the past couple weeks,
I was on vacation and stuff.
Originally, my plan was let me watch those, or I'll go in order and just watch the early 4 or 5, and I will see what the best one is. Problem is, not all of them are streaming, so I ended up just like starting to jump around. And then again, you were on vacation, we kept pushing it back. I watched 16 Adam Sandler movies, and I'm not talking about Punch Drunk Love or all that. Like, I went very specific with. My criteria was basically like a Happy Madison movie, excluding those first ones he made.
No, what's that one? Rain Over Me?
No Rain Over Me, no Spanglish.
Oh, you thought... Dude, I liked Spanglish.
No Hotel Transylvania.
I know he was in that.
This
What
was
about
just the...
What's that other one? The Cobbler.
The Cobbler wouldn't be it. None of the drama stuff.
Okay. So you
has to be Happy Madison. I want there to be his trio of guys in this, SNL cameos.
Sure.
Very
what's
specific
the
criteria.
Alan Covert?
Alan Covert.
Covert.
Peter Dante. There's a lot of those guys.
Yes.
But we kept delaying, and I just kept. We were like, all right, we got an extra day. Let me keep watching them. And I was like, so the only reason I didn't want to do that because I was like, well, when I'm going to follow through on this and watch them all, but next episode I'm not going to have any to talk about. Guess how many movies I have left to watch based on that criteria.
Okay, you've watched 16. Please don't tell me it's more than 10. It's more than 10. Is it 16?
I have 15 more Adam Sandler movies to watch.
And you're going to?
I am. At this point, I'm like, fuck it, I have to do it. It's mostly ones that. It's like the past 10 years, Sandler's gone out of control with the Netflix thing, and
like I have no idea what he's doing on Netflix. Did he make a Western at one point?
I think it's just like, yeah, they pump out content, so they beef up their catalog. It looks like they have a long... so I went in no particular order. I just decided I'm going to... Whatever was available, I kind of leapfrogged from title to title. Sure. And ended up doing 16 of them.
We really did a reversal here, because generally I overwatch.
You overdo it.
You fucking overdid it, dude.
The one thing that I figured I could give you to watch, because I know you weren't going to sit through Jack and Jill, is Uncut Gems.
I hadn't seen that.
You hadn't seen Uncut Gems.
I did watch it.
Do you want to talk about that at the top before we get into this?
We could if you want.
Yeah, what did you... As I watched it recently as well.
I liked it. I haven't seen any of the other Safdie brothers movies.
There's not a ton.
There's Good Time, and I think there's another one, and maybe another one. I don't know. I remember it was one of those movies, and here's the thing. It's like, it just goes to show kind of where we are with movies right now, where it was good. I liked it. But I remember I was like, oh my God, this movie. People just talking about it like, oh, it's just the best. This is amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it was good.
Yeah. Watch The Gambler, and then, it's like, it feels very similar to those type of movies.
You any experience with gambling?
No, not particularly.
I won't pretend I have a ton.
I lost $20 on the virtual roulette machine once, and that was hard enough.
I had a bet a couple of years ago, it was a lock. I ended up losing a nice chunk of change on it, and I haven't really gambled since then. But there's the one thing, it's the highest high. Mm-hmm. It really is.
Yeah.
And it is the lowest of lows. Yeah. I mean, I can't even describe how you feel stupid and aggrieved. It's
questioning every decision.
My shoulders are tightening up thinking about that feeling. Yeah, you question everything, every step that led to it, what you could have done. Maybe there's a chance. Like, it's the bargaining aspect. It's horrible. So I thought the movie did that fairly well.
Well, he does that really well.
He does, but here's the thing, and especially early on, maybe the first 45 minutes of the movie, I got what they were doing, and I found it a bit contrived of everyone just talking at once.
Yeah.
And like I understood what they were going for, and it kind of works. It gets you in that feeling of like you can't relax, you can't think straight. But it just was a little not even too much. I don't mind that. I just it didn't work perfectly for me.
I remember when this movie came out, I think it was like holidays of 2019, simpler times. And I remember a woman I was working with in the office with at that point. She was real excited about it, and her husband went to go see it. And she came in the next day. I'm like, "How was it?" She was like, "It was just a bunch of people yelling at each other for 2 hours."
It kind of annoyed me. Whereas I thought that could have been. I don't know I'd say it could have been structured better. Because it didn't even come off as improv-y necessarily.
No, it's definitely
but
tight.
I'll tell you this. Like I said, in that first 45 minutes, well, this is another big problem. I'll get back to that in a second. The big inciting incident I didn't necessarily buy, where Kevin Garnett, who was pretty damn good as an actor.
For being,
I was like, dude.
Trust me, I've seen some athletes appear in movies this week.
Of course.
That are
I'm sure.
awful.
But, he's playing himself. But he kind of takes...
Even Mike Francesa is like...
Dude, that was funny.
It's surprisingly good.
That was funny. If you people don't know, Mike Francesa was and you always want to say Francesca when you see his name. But he did like fucking New York sports radio. I guess he's back. He was a big staple for a long time, and there's a lot of really funny clips of him online.
My knowledge of him was from the Opie and Anthony would riff on him.
Yeah.
They would always do clips, and there's a great thing where the whole thing, it's just him unboxing what you would get to go to the Super Bowl that year. And he just goes, "I got here Super Bowl
super funny clip." There's a guy I forget what his name is. He's on YouTube. You guys, if you'll probably be able to find him, but he does like Mike Francesa, but it's 1776. It's so funny, man. It's really funny.
That's what I kind of like about this movie, though. And I'm sorry, I'll let you get back to the inciting incident thing. But it's like everyone kind of looks relatively regular.
Yeah.
There's the cast. They look like they feel like real people. They don't feel like. Even Sandler, like I don't know. He feels like a guy you would meet in the Diamond District. Like it's played very regularly.
Agreed. It's one thing about Sandler. When he's doing his Sandler-esque comedies, you feel like you're watching Adam Sandler the whole time. But
towards the end, I felt like I was watching Satan, the devil incarnate.
I'm watching Uncut Gems, and I forgot it was Sandler.
Yeah, same thing.
I thought it was. My God, I just watched it yesterday. What's his fucking name? Howard Ratman, I believe. The character's name.
Oh, yeah.
Howard. I kind of just forgot.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the momentum of the movie just kind of carried me along, and I forgot I was watching Sandler.
You know what it was supposed to be? Jonah Hill.
No.
Yeah, Jonah Hill was supposed to be Jonah Hill. He ends up dropping out for some reason. Yeah.
He would have been. He would have been terrible in that role. That's a really bad role for him. Oh, good for him. He made the right decision.
The movie is elevated by Sandler.
But like Punch Drunk Love, I talk about it all the time. It's definitely in my top 10. But it really is. That one's. I love that movie. I think about it all the time, and I don't even think about him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't consider Sandler in it. It's just Barry Egan in that story. Like, I don't even think about... And I have to remind myself, like, oh, fuck, he was good in that. Like, so when he's acting, he can be good. Some of the other things, I don't know, like Rain Over Me, I couldn't... It looked weepy. My tolerance for that is often low. But the inciting incident with the uncut stone of the opals and how Kevin Garnett, like, just kind of takes it. And there's all the talking and chatter and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I went through a lot to get that. And he's like, no, I'm just going to hold on to it. I'm just going to... Dude, come on.
Like, there has to be more of a strong connection to that thing, or...
He went through all that trouble to get this stone out of Ethiopia, and he just lets Kevin Garnett walk out of the store with it? Dude.
Yeah.
I don't... Now, maybe, you can excuse it like, well, Kevin Garnett's not going to steal.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that's the...
But he could.
Yeah.
And, it kind of gets to it later where he's like, he's going to get the lawyer involved. And it's like, well, why'd you let him walk out of the store with it in the fucking first place? And that's the first hour of the movie, is him trying to get it back.
I mean,
sure.
There's some security there.
A little bit, but I don't know. I just found it very, like, what if he loses it? Like, there's too many...
Yeah. Also, you kind of get, at the very end, you realize that he's way overpriced the thing.
Sure.
Its value. I mean, I think he said he paid $100,000 for it in the end, and Kevin was willing to pay him $175,000. It's just like there's constant anxiety attacks in this movie.
Yeah, which, like I said, it's a little contrived.
Yeah.
It almost is like Anxiety Attack the movie, where it's like, all right, like, there's only so much of that you're going to get out of me. Yeah. Where I'm like, all right, dude, like, I'm just watching now. Yeah. Like, I'm not like, oh, what's going to happen? I'm like, something bad, probably. He's a fucking degenerate gambler who's making bad decisions, and like.
It's the same thing with Bad Lieutenant that has a similar vibe to it with the gambling, and I have really hard time watching characters that do
just
that.
keep digging the hole deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
And it's good. I liked how, this is a spoiler show, but I liked how it paid off.
Yeah.
And then, he gets to enjoy it for a half second.
Right.
And then I thought, I kind of knew what happened. I knew he died in the end. I didn't know how. Do you remember the two kind of weird brothers, it seemed?
Yeah.
I thought they were going to come out of the woodwork and pop him. Yeah.
But I was like, get away from the car. Get out of here. What are you doing? I don't want to buy it.
And then he gave him the fake watch.
Yeah.
You gave me a fake watch. Fuck you. Boom. I thought that would have happened. Kind of glad they didn't, because that's too easy.
Yeah.
I came to that. I'm like, okay, good.
It's weird too, because this, Philadelphia has essentially a diamond district, a jeweler's row.
Yeah,
and
of course.
that world feels like that.
Yeah.
It feels very. There's a lot of those type of places buzzed in. It's very the security's a thing.
For a verisimilitude factor, it was very good.
Yeah.
It felt authentic. The acting and the way it was staged, kind of sometimes I was like,
yeah. I did think he's fantastic in it. I mean,
he's good.
And that's coming as I told you when I was like, let's watch Uncut Gems. I needed a palate cleanser because I was just like, and that's the thing.
I did too. There was two others you recommended to me that I watched, and I didn't like, and I was just like, it was more that me like, I'm like, do I even like movies anymore, man?
Well, so
it was good.
Yeah,
it was well made. It told a good story. I was interested.
I feel the same way. I don't think it's a mind-blowingly amazing film.
No, it was good though.
But it's a good
I
movie.
enjoyed it. You know what I actually love though? When he's going up to the apartment to see if his girlfriend moved out, and his kid's got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he's like, come on. He's knocking on neighbors' doors to see if they can go to the bathroom. He's like, yeah. He's like, right here. You ever see Good Times? And I'm like, oh, they are going to pull it off, aren't they? And he's like, he was the dad on Good Times, blah, blah. He'll let you use the bathroom. It's John Amos. And he just goes, no, you can't use the bathroom.
Now, see, if this was like a Happy Madison movie, it would be Steve Urkel, and he would then become a part of the plot. It would be a whole. He has a whole.
I just loved how John Amos pops his head out the door and then shuts it. I was like, that's awesome.
Perfect. But yeah, I mean, so we talked about Happy Gilmore, and you asked me that. That's what led me on this. But also, my friends over at No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast are doing the Summer of Sandman. So they're just doing all and they've only did 4 or 5. But that kind of motivated. I was like, and then he was on Rogan, Sandler. And I don't watch Rogan or listen to Rogan, but once in a while a good guest comes on.
Yeah, you pop it on.
And it's just like
I do the same thing.
I kind of forgot that for us growing up, what events Adam Sandler movies were.
Well, one thing, God, I was preteen.
Yeah.
You go to the movie. Hey, can we go to the movies? I'm a big movie kid. I remember it was a big mark of pride that I had kind of seen every Adam Sandler movie in theaters. And looking back, I don't even know if that was true. I don't think I saw Billy Madison in the theaters, but it was at a certain point. I think my marker was when I started going to the movies, I saw every Adam Sandler.
Right.
And then I can still remember, I was like, all right, here I am. I'm keeping my streak going. Here we are for Little Nicky. And that was when that was the dawn of some movies kind of suck. You kind of
it's so funny you say that because that's not in the 16 group. That'll be for the next one, Little Nicky for me.
Oh, okay.
But when looking at his filmography, that's the clear turning point, I feel like, where, the initial ones, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Big Daddy, The Wedding Singer, and The Waterboy all seem very beloved by people. Again, I'm going to have my own opinions on them, but Little Nicky was that seemed that everyone was just not on board with.
It was the costume, the face, the voice.
Yeah.
The whole thing. It was you're realizing I don't want to watch this character for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Right.
And a lot of these movies are too long.
Yeah, that's another thing. But
somehow The Waterboy worked though.
For you.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
When I get to it.
Is it on the list here?
It's on the list.
Okay, very good.
But the thing that I really came to realize, it was this fucking guy, since 1995 with Billy Madison, I mean, he's had a movie come out, if not more than one, every single year. It's
pretty
really
prolific.
impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about someone that kind of rivals what Woody Allen did in terms of how many movies they made. This guy has been essentially in a movie a year for 30 fucking years. It's incredibly impressive. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, what did I just say? 15, that's 31. That doesn't include all the animated stuff, the drama stuff. I mean, talk about a fucking career. And, maybe about 10 years ago or so, it became very easy to lampoon Adam Sandler and look at him, he's sold out.
Sure,
and
there was that South Park Awesome-O episode.
All that stuff.
Adam Sandler on an island with a puppy or whatever.
But what's become very clear to me, this is a philosophical thing for me at this point, is that I kind of respect the man. If there was a way that you and I could make a movie a year, hang out together, be in a tropical paradise and just fucking make money. I mean, yeah, some of these movies are not the best in terms of quality.
I hear you. Would I take that deal? Probably. But there is, to play devil's advocate, I mean, they're shit.
They're shit. There is shit. I will say the movies that are like that you would think are terrible, they're actually enjoyable just because how ludicrous they are.
Okay.
The movies I really didn't like in this thing were the ones that just he doesn't do his thing. It's hard to explain. But this is basically I came up with a formula, the Adam Sandler movie formula.
Okay.
And when his movies stick to this, it's typically when they work. Adam Sandler plays a lovable loser who hasn't amounted to his full potential. To emphasize this, the movie begins with a flashback showing him as a child going through a traumatic life event. Said loser gets put into a situation where he's forced to grow up a little, though he has trouble following through, mostly due to the schemes of a weaselly male authority figure. An attractive woman enters the story, who is played by an actress way out of Sandler's league in ways that disrupt the universe. She ends up falling for him and helping him amount to his true potential. He is aided by his larger-than-life friends, played by Alan Covert, Peter Dante, and Jonathan Loren. Rob Schneider plays an acquaintance of Sandler's, usually in problematic ethnic makeup, who dispenses wisdom in zany yet sincere ways. Steve Buscemi cameos as an eccentric weirdo who adds nothing to the overall plot beyond jokes that essentially boil down to, wow, look at this fucking weirdo. When Buscemi isn't available, Nick Swardson will suffice. Celebrity athletes, pro wrestlers, and Blake Clark fill out the rest of the cast.
The fuck is Blake Clark?
He's the guy that's like the old... I don't know where the fuck you would know Blake Clark from, but you would know him if you saw him. Look him up.
All right.
He's, I guess they were in Shakes the Clown together.
Okay.
And
Sandler was in Shakes?
Yeah.
I've never seen that of you.
Mm-mm. But he brought up on Rogan. And that's another thing. I'm not going to watch Going Overboard because that was kind of his. Like everyone's like, this is just terrible.
Sure, Blake Clark.
Blake Clark,
Waterboy.
Yeah,
rubbing the nipples. Yes, of course.
And all these movies have a really interesting like running joke of the townspeople. There's always crowds and like his friends cameoing and shouting things, and it's interesting. So I'm going to start off here, and please, I'm sure you've seen some of these, but with that in mind, that formula really working, what I have at the bottom of my list of 16.
You want to go from the bottom to the top?
Bottom to the top.
Yeah, well, I can take it.
Bulletproof.
Oh, man, I have seen this years, over 20 years ago. I've seen this.
Midnight Walk.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? I never liked Damon Wayans as a straight man.
He is terrible.
He's awful as a straight man.
And they have no chemistry.
None.
It's just like dull. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Even with these like goofy bad movies, at least you can enjoy the ride.
Well, this was what year? 94?
This is 96.
96. This was still the era of.
I mean, directed by Ernest Dickerson.
Let's put two comedy guys in an action movie.
Yeah,
where they have to eventually. It's almost like the what is that fucking Sidney Poitier? You throw two guys together that don't want to be together, right. But they gotta blah blah blah.
In the Heat of the Night.
Well, kind of, but there's
the Bill Cosby ones.
No, there's one where he's chained to another white guy.
Really?
I think so. I might be thinking of something else.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like, as far as like an Adam Sandler movie, it doesn't really hit those beats you want it to.
With the exception of Disneyland. That's the one thing I remember.
Yeah, what is that?
Where he's like, he's hiding his identity or something. And Damon Wayans is like, yeah, I'm going to take this guy to Disneyland.
Oh.
Disneyland.
Yeah, it's just like... James Caan's in it. He's kind of fun to see in it.
Yeah, man. I remember so little of this movie. I just remember being a kid and being like, why isn't this funny? Why is my funny Adam Sandler movie?
All the Sandler dudes pop up in it. Covert's in it.
Really?
I mean, Loren. I mean, there's like... By the way, I'm watching all these movies, and it's like, there's like the three guys. It's Covert, Peter Dante, who's the Italian-looking one.
Hey,
and then there's the other guy. He always plays a guy with like a cross eye in a lot of these movies.
Oh, he's the big guy in
Yeah.
Waterboy. Yeah, okay, right, sure.
But I was like, after a certain amount, I'm like, I don't see Peter Dante anymore. What's the deal with that? They have a falling out? Have you ever like researched what happened? Peter Dante has gone on like racial tirades and like fucking Marriott lobbies.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm just thinking, you saw Grandma's Boy, right?
Yeah.
Him in that voice.
And
So I guess he's done.
He's out of the Happy Madison. In 2013, he was his last appearance. Apparently, he's like one of these guys that like goes around like, "Do you know who I am?" Like
Oh, it's awesome. Can we get him on the show?
Adam Sandler
reach out to his
collaborator
people.
Peter Dante in hot water over a not safe for work confrontation with restaurant host.
Oh, it's so funny. I'm gonna have to look that up. I probably had heard about it when you said 2013, right?
Hold on.
It's so long
Peter
ago.
Dante was recognized at a Los Angeles restaurant, Quarters Korean Barbecue, on Monday night. Per a video obtained by TMZ, he entered the Koreatown establishment without a mask and was denied a table. A hostess refused him service while standing by a no mask, no entry sign. Dante became angry at the server, calling her garbage and cunt before demanding to speak to her boss.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so he had stopped appearing in the Happy Madison
Let's
movies.
put him in something.
He's probably very easily...
I wish I could hear his voice. I have to practice it. I could probably get it down, but it's got like a I can't do it. I'm not going to torture the audience.
All right, so with that in mind, the next one. This is my Little Nicky. Based on what you said, it was Grown Ups.
Never saw it. I was checked out at this point.
My mom won tickets to see an advanced screening of this on WMMR.
Okay.
And I took a couple friends in high school. We went to go see it. And this was to me what I remember being like I don't think I like Adam Sandler anymore. I was just like, this is not funny.
Yeah.
It's so not funny. There's no plot.
Well, it's them with their wives on a vacation or something,
there is no
right?
inciting incident.
But is that what it is?
No conflict. Yes. There is no
Wait, but
plot.
isn't it? No, there is.
No.
And I haven't seen it, but I thought the coach died or something.
The coach dies. Blake Clark plays the coach, and he
and
dies.
But they go back to their hometown.
They go back to their hometown, and I guess like the guys they beat in this basketball game 30 years ago are now grown up. One of them is Colin Quinn.
Who I love Colin
He's
Quinn.
Terrific.
He can't act.
No.
He cannot
And if you can
act.
buy into that, it's funny.
I just recently, I've been I talk about this all the time. It's like, let me just throw something on.
Yeah.
So I've been watching Larry Sanders again, which is
Yeah.
hilarious. But there's a really great episode where the Artie character, the producer, he wants to get his son a job on the show as like a PA.
Okay.
And it's Colin Quinn. And it's really funny.
Yeah.
But Colin Quinn can't act. But that's funny. Like something about that is endearing.
Yeah.
Like I remember watching him on Weekend Update. He was stumbling through lines all the time. I'm like, this is funny.
Dude, and that's the one thing I have to give Sandler credit for. It's like, these movies are fun because so many of these people come back to do them. And probably for not a great amount of money. The fact that like Steve Buscemi makes time in his schedule regularly to do these movies, it says a lot about the guy.
You get to go
I do have a lot of respect for the man.
It's funny. I saw a quick comment recently, and it's like, I guess I respect this. Someone asked Michael Keaton about Batgirl, and they were like, "Hey, are you bummed Batgirl's not going out?" It was like a real short statement I saw. He was just like, he's like, "Nah, I don't care. Big fun, a lot of money, big paycheck."
Big check, yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah, but and it is when it's not aggravating, which it often is. Making movies is fucking a blast,
I
dude.
agree.
It's a lot of fun.
And he's found a way to do it.
Pay your friends.
Go
to
on
hang
some
out.
trip. I mean, and Alan Covert is one of his producers now. Like he produces all these movies. Like he's always looked out for his friends.
Yeah.
And he just
respectable.
He seems like a down to earth guy that never let fame really get to him. He doesn't like have personal politics that come out. He's been married the whole time. I think the things he's doing now, like putting his kids in movies, is a little douchey.
I'm not a fan of that either. But
I have to respect the guy. And Grown Ups, it does something you hate, which is the 10-second music cue for the joke. That fucking Pina Colada song plays what feels like 47 times during the movie.
I really hate the music
Every time
cue.
there's a clip of a hot girl, if you like pina coladas.
I hate it.
Even like when
I hate
a
it
non-attractive...
so much.
Because he really like... Some of these movies are just like mean. Like
can
he
be.
really
Well,
does get mean with the humor.
The early ones were I liked that about them. Like I was telling you, I liked when he played the angry nutcase character.
Yeah, and it's like...
And when he started playing Schmaltzy, I hated it.
Rob Schneider... Chris Rock.
What's Schneider playing
Schneider
this one?
just plays
like
like
kind of a hippy-dippy
kind of guy who's married to a much older woman.
Nice.
And the joke is he has really hot daughters, and then there's one that's not hot because it looks like him. So it's just like, but again, every time one gets out of the car, we have to, if you like pina colada, it's like,
God.
The fucking product placement in this movie.
That's a big turnoff too. I remember that in Little Nicky's. There was like more than, at least, there was that one Popeyes joke.
Oh my God.
Actually, there was multiple Popeyes jokes, now I mentioned. That's when I really started to notice it. I'm like, I don't like this.
I mean, the majority of these movies are Columbia, Sony Pictures movies, which so it shouldn't be a surprise. But Jesus Christ almighty.
I guess it offset production costs. I don't know.
And I'm sorry. You know what? Kevin James doesn't fit into this world for me.
I could, yeah.
He feels like half-baked Chris Farley.
Okay.
It's like Fat Man Falls Down a lot.
Gotcha. He's another one I don't like when he's I don't like that. I don't like that character. Period. Generally,
dude, it's just like.
And what does Chris Rock play? Black guy?
Yeah, that's the whole joke. Well, no, he's actually Maya Rudolph plays his wife.
Okay.
And he's like the stay-at-home dad who cooks.
Gotcha.
That's the joke.
I hate that Chris Rock too.
It's so
like,
not
I hate
funny.
Cook Chris Rock. I hate it.
David Spade plays like the ladies' man who never settled down and just likes to. I hate to say it, the funniest fucking one is Rob Schneider, because he's got this ridiculous like Elvis hairstyle and it's a wig. It keeps like flapping in the wind.
People can say whatever they want. His little small bit roles were always funny.
And as I go through these, man, when he wasn't in them, I found myself missing him.
Yeah,
because it just added something
he goes
to
for
it.
Another South Park joke.
Yeah,
the stapler. Man, some of these things, it's so funny too. Because like we've talked about this before with the age gap, and I grew up worshiping The Simpsons.
Yeah,
and it's just it's not holding up.
No.
And it kind of bums me out, but at the same time, I don't care.
Yeah,
like it's just not holding up, man. It's really shocking. But I digress.
All right, so after Grown Ups, I feel like maybe you saw this one. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
I did not, but I remember at the time being like, oh, okay, it's just a little bit interesting, quaint now.
Well, you know what
I think Alexander Payne wrote it,
and then like tried to get his name off it. Like he claims that when Sandler came on board, they completely.
Oh, really?
Dude, he does this thing in this movie where it's like, how can we show that my male character is Adam Sandler? What is his character's name? I see Chuck. Yeah, he's Chuck. Let's really hit home that he cannot be gay because he's just such a fuck man. Everyone, look how hot and sexy he is.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't work.
It's like
I haven't seen it, but I can just tell you right now, it just doesn't.
It does not land in the slightest. There's a whole thing, right?
I think there's a way to do it too. It's not like, look, not to cut you off. It's been a while. I'd like to cut you off,
please.
But, it's not that you need to be hyper attractive to be a ladies' man.
No, we talked about this with Ishtar and
all the
Dustin
time.
Hoffman.
But Sandler doesn't really have the charisma.
He does not have the charm or the charisma, or confidence to pull it off.
He just kind of doesn't.
You're just supposed to accept
I'm
that.
not saying he can't pull tail.
He pulls Jessica Biel in this movie,
sure,
man.
Which I don't know. He seems like
but they have no chemistry.
Right, exactly.
Then like at one point, she's just like, "You're a gay man, so feel my breasts." Like that joke of that's just how straight women act around gay men. That's it, you know. But there's so much of just this. He moves into Kevin James's family house and has to start getting his mail there. And Kevin James
what was the whole thing? He was a widower.
They're firemen. Yeah,
but he's a widower.
And he's a widower, and his pension benefits, he wants them.
Right.
So when Sandler starts getting his mail delivered there, he's like, "Oh, what's this bill?" And it's just like fucking blatant pornography that's like not a giant industrial box of Magnum condoms. Like it's so much of this like
labored.
Like of course look what a cool guy he is. There's another scene where Kevin James goes to his house to like pitch him this the role get married, and like all the Hooters girls are in his bedroom in like sexy lingerie, and it's just so overdone and tired.
It's not. I'm not saying you have to be super subtle, but
like if I was writing a comedy at 14 years old, I was like, how do you show that a man fucks a lot?
Right.
This is what you do. You have them buy Magnum condoms. It's just like, it's unrealistic.
Man, there were Hooters girls in this?
And there's Hooters girls.
Like with the logo?
Yes.
Big Daddy. He keeps these fucking product placements going, man.
And like, don't get me wrong, like the gay panic when handled, I mean, I just talked about the Birdcage, how I really enjoyed that.
Sure.
But like, then this movie has to get like preachy about it in terms of like they actually like get like sentimental about like.
Oh my god!
And it's like, dude, you're making like blatant like homophobia jokes, and now you're gonna try like pick one.
Yeah, just pick. Yeah, I agree.
And stick to it. Agree more. Like it's just
make gay panic jokes.
There's one where of course they leave like this gala of gay person costume party, dude. And this is the same scene.
Gay person. I like how you're just.
It's
Oh, the gay person costume party.
Well,
of course.
it's like-
I got it.
But
Go.
it's not how gay people like. So of course Nick Swardson has to play like the one in the butterfly costume.
Sure,
It's like
of
hello,
course,
welcome. Like
of course.
just so over the top. And then at one point he thinks he sees Jessica Biel in like a bunny costume from behind. He's like, oh yeah, there's my lawyer. How's it going? And he taps her on the shoulder, and it turns around to David Spade. And it's like. That's the
it's
joke.
kind of funny.
But like then like
it's you see it coming a fucking mile away. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
Like
he's like, I ain't going to the bathroom. I'm not. I don't know what happens in the bathrooms here. I'm not going in.
Yeah.
And then just minutes later, they leave, and there's like a Westboro Baptist Church equivalent protesting, and like Adam Sandler looks, and there's a gay couple consoling each other, and that's what makes him realize that like we can't.
he wants to suck cock.
It's just like so.
That's horrible, man. Look at that. Who talks about that movie anymore?
This movie?
Nobody. No, it's a movie. It's just that dot.
Yeah.
Just no rewatch value beyond Jessica Biel in her underwear.
The big court case at the end. Where,
oh
like,
my god, I'm getting sick to my
then
stomach.
you have Dan Aykroyd plays their fire chief who has a big speech about like we can't govern love, and it's just like it's like one of those type of things of like
that's horrendous.
It's really bad.
That's horrendous.
It's so.
I thought maybe that one. I'm like, for its time, kind of topical. Like
Dude,
I said,
I remember being really excited for this.
The gay panic shit can be funny. Those two, do Kevin James and him have chemistry? As a comedy
The
duo.
whole joke is though it's like, hey, you're big and fat, and I'm just a ladies' man. I would never be. If I was a gay man, I wouldn't go for you. It's just shit like that. And it's like,
God, what's this movie? 3.5 hours long or something?
2 hours long.
Terrible.
There's another, and then Rob Schneider plays the Japanese.
Excellent. That sounds funny.
It's not.
That one's not.
It's not funny at all.
I've said this a million times on this show. I have no problem with people playing other races. I think it's funny.
Also, he's like, I think he's Filipino or
he's something.
He at one point,
He's Rob Schneider.
You may kiss the.
You may kiss on the bra.
It's exactly like that. And,
does he have the little bowl? Is that the one where he has the little bowl cut?
Yeah,
Okay,
and they go to
perfect.
kiss. And
does he have buck teeth or something?
As Kevin James is getting close, Adam Sandler whacks him, slaps him. And then the guy's like, oh, you do me now? And it's just like...
Oh, my God.
Oh, and he's like, that's how we roll in our house, baby. And it's like... Dude, then...
I really don't like to turn a phrase, I don't like cocksure Adam Sandler either. Where, like you said, he's like, I'm the ladies' man. I do what I don't buy it.
And then Steve Buscemi plays... he plays Clinton Fitzer, who is like the guy who's investigating their case.
Okay.
And like Kevin James comes out of the house one day and Buscemi's digging through their trash. He's like, yeah, your trash isn't very gay. I'm like, well, that's a fucking lawsuit. Like, there's no way. So they go to like a CVS type store.
It's kind of a funny line, though.
They're like, your trash, it's not very gay enough. I'm seeing all these porn magazines.
Yeah, I can hear Buscemi saying that.
And like, just Kevin James be like, so what? We're bi. Like, why are you making this into a thing? They go to like a CVS and like, we need to gay our trash up. And they're buying like Wham albums and like Celine Dion and Liza Minnelli shit. And it's like, well, why would you, if you're gay, why would you be throwing this stuff out? It doesn't make any sense. Someone do something.
Could make a few jokes. I'm not gonna, but
yeah. And again, you have
Louise.
Blake Clark in this, and just this is when like
I'm so glad I skipped this one.
Dude, this is 3 films into this fucking. Jesus. Okay, but moving on. Number 13 is Jack and Jill.
Never saw it beyond a couple scenes, and of course the very funny Dunkachino sequence.
He saves the film.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
I've talked about in the podcast before, there's nothing I hate more in a drag comedy than the older man falling for and pining over the man in drag. Mm-hmm. Like it's like he's really into that.
It's the Some Like It Hot joke.
It is.
It's
just been done to death.
Of course.
The fact that it's Al Pacino
kind of makes it.
It sells the movie.
Yeah.
It's not a camp. I mean, he's in the majority of the movie. And he keeps trying to pick her up. He brings her to his house. Uh-huh. It's enjoyable. The rest of the movie,
I believe it,
is complete dog shit. It doesn't make any sense. He's doing this awful voice for the. It's me. My name is Jill, and it's just like
it's no good.
There's no chemistry because they're not acting together.
Yeah, you know what? I remember clips from it. It really seemed like it was that split screen. Like you could tell. Like they're not reacting correctly. I remember a couple scenes I saw too. Like he's at the dinner table with the kids. I'm like, this is dreadful, man.
Yeah.
Like the kid shit. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
They have him and Katie Holmes is his wife in it, which I think the thing was she couldn't do The Dark Knight Rises. Tom Cruise didn't want to let her do that, but he was okay with her. He wanted her to do Jack and Jill.
Why did he want her to do the Batman movie?
I don't know. He didn't want to see her get kissed on screen or something, probably.
Okay.
And they have a daughter, but then they have an adopted Indian kid who goes around taping objects to him. It's never explained or addressed. That's And then Alan Covert plays his character from Happy Gilmore in this. The homeless man, the caddy with the beard.
Sure.
He plays that character in this.
So funny in Happy Gilmore.
It's like, there is like a cinematic universe that happens with these movies. Characters reappear.
So it's the same character.
It's the same character. His
Really?
name's the same. It's a homeless guy. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he plays. He comes to like Thanksgiving dinners. He's like part of this program where you can invite.
Okay. That's the other thing too. I don't like when Sandler plays like a rich, successful guy dealing with his job.
He's the best at what he does.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I can't sit through it. There's something about it. Like I'm like,
dude, Grown Ups begins with him on the phone going, "I'm the best agent in Hollywood. What are you talking about?" There are better ways to suggest this.
Yeah, Uncut Gems did a good job of that, I thought.
Yeah,
because he's on the phone the whole movie and stuff. That's nothing. I hate phone shit. But that movie,
easy, lazy way to exposition.
People talk about they don't want to make new movies because people don't want to write for phones. That movie did it fairly. It should you got to use them, and people are using them, and not to jump around. But I hate that. I'm the top of my game, and my family, and my wife. I can't.
I gotta close the big deal, honey. And
the big deal. Yup.
Here's what I came to realize about
does he close the big deal at the end with what? Don Pacino's
the big deal.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So there's a whole it gets like Mrs. Doubtfire where he then dresses as Jill to seduce Pacino into doing the commercial.
Jesus, dude.
It's then they spend a third of the movie on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship, the something of the seas.
Oh, yeah! I haven't even seen this movie.
I think this is when you were losing your mind because I was texting you. It was just a photo.
You kept sending me screenshots. Like, look at this.
They were all sitting in the movie theater with the Coca-Cola.
Yeah, perfectly turned.
Even the popcorn bags had Coca-Cola on them, and they're all just sitting there. Rough, but Pacino, man, is so funny in this movie. He gets the joke instantly. He commits to it. And he just has so much fun with it.
Were they doing something with him wearing the disguises at the Lakers game in this movie? He was doing that for a while in real life, which was funny.
Yeah, and Johnny Depp is his at the Lakers game with him. He has a little bit of fun with it. It's just
Is Johnny Depp going to act again? What's the story there?
I think he's directing something, isn't he? I heard he's got something directing coming out. But yeah, Jack and Jill. You know what I realized by watching these movies? It's like Sandler hasn't had a typical life. I mean, he was in his mid-20s during Billy Madison or whatever. So, of course these movies are going to not feel like real life because he's not had a handle
that's a fair point.
On what real life is like probably in many years. He's been a millionaire.
That's a good point.
So it's like he's writing what he thinks.
He was huge on SNL.
Yeah. Dude, he was 23 when he got SNL, I think.
He might have been. Yeah, I mean,
it's an incredible career
Yeah.
rise. And the fact that he's maintained starring in films this long.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 12 is The Longest Yard.
Never saw it.
Don't.
I feel like this is when the you say don't bother.
Yeah.
This was when I never saw the original either, but this is when remakes really started to ramp up, and I was like, I don't care.
He's so wrong for this part.
And not only that, I'm like, he plays a football star,
An
right?
ex-NFL.
He's Adam fucking Sandler.
They try to disguise it being
I've watched football.
Yeah. Oh,
he's not in the fucking NFL.
They
what does he play? Does he play a quarterback?
I don't know football, but
does
I believe
he throw the ball?
Yeah,
okay, he's probably the quarterback.
Yeah.
I doubt he's a linebacker.
He it's explained 20 years ago, so he's been but it still doesn't make much sense. And
Adam Sandler's there's no universe where he's in the NFL.
No.
So I'm right there. I'm like, wait, huh?
No. And then he gets to prison, and it's like I've seen the original. It's been a long time. Bert's in this. Bert plays the wiser
old timer.
Sure, Chris Rock plays the second, who's interjects some humor into it. But then you got it's the other NFL players that he's, or not NFL, but the other prisoners he's assembled
Tracy
here.
Morgan
Well, Tracy Morgan plays the woman one.
Yeah.
So it's that awful joke where it's in prison some of the men dress like women, and it's just this is not. I don't think this happens. Not in this way. One of the best parts is Cloris Leachman. She plays the warden's secretary, who's doing like Cloris Leachman, like, "Hey, hot stuff." Like,
all right,
it's funny. But then you got like Bill Goldberg, Kevin Nash, Steve Austin, and she's like, these guys can't act. Fucking Joey Diaz. It's like,
oh right, you had to send me him in his tidy whities or something.
Dude, I don't. Not fucking Joey Diaz. It's just like, my God. And it's like I lose respect for the Sandler movies where it's like it doesn't do the thing he's good at.
Yeah.
And this is one of those movies. It takes.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, he stopped doing what he was good at, and he started making these type of movies where I was like, okay, I'm out. It's not for me.
It's just not. There's nothing there to me with this one.
Just nothing really redeeming.
It's nothing redeeming about it. Really terrible, like 2000 soundtrack of like hip hop and like it's just like
horrible. Who's the warden?
Cromwell.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the cast is like.
Do they win the big game?
They do. They do. They
do
win the
think
big game.
about it.
Well, because there's a thing where it's like the warden's like, you better not win this game after like commissioning the whole project. It's
Why?
like because he's like put money in. It's some
good lord,
corrupt shit. And like and then of course Sandler realizes like the warden's like if you win this game, you're gonna be here for fucking decades. And Sandler has that moment of like I don't my men are disappointed that they're losing, so I'm gonna. This like righteous thing doesn't work for me. All right, so number 11 is Pixels.
Oh, I couldn't even say. It's got your favorite actor in it, though. I know that, Josh Gad.
I have been hard on Josh Gad on this podcast.
Maybe it should be harder. I have a feeling.
But when I come to realize, I'm like, you know what? I've never really seen Josh Gad in that many things.
Okay.
I've seen him in The Murder on the Orient Express. He's in the remake. I've seen him in, I think, that Beauty and the Beast movie I watched when it came out. I can now say, I don't know what the appeal is of the man. I genuinely don't know anymore.
That guy who makes faces.
It's not that. That would give him too much credit. He doesn't make faces. He doesn't really do much of anything except yell.
Yeah, yells too.
And you know what made me joy? Every time Sandler works with someone, they seem to kind of come into the repertoire of actors and appear in his further movies. How many more has Josh Gad been in? 0. Sandler drew the line at Josh Gad and said, "No, you're no more Happy Madison.
Oh man,
you're too terrible for my movies."
I like how you've been documenting how many things he's been attached to that don't go anywhere.
Someone's got to.
Do you think Spaceballs 2 is going to
No,
make
it's
it?
not going to happen.
You don't think it's going to happen?
I think I just don't. I don't see a world where it happens.
They got
But someone has to explain to me where the talent is.
I think wasn't he a Broadway? He was
Maybe
kind of a
it's
song and dance
thing.
man.
I mean, he was the original like funny fat friend in Book of Mormon.
Okay.
That was I think where he really came up.
Okay.
He was on a sitcom called Back to You with Kelsey Grammer. Do you remember? You don't know if you probably don't remember.
He was some kind of TV personality.
Yeah,
Kelsey
but it was like
Grammer.
it kind of
news. It was him and Patricia Heaton.
Yes.
Yes.
He kind of was funny in that. I've seen him like I think in The Rocker, that Rainn Wilson movie, he's kind of, something happened where he all of a sudden, I don't know if he entered a blackmail scheme with he's just been everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like that, but I'm genuinely curious. Are we that desperate for a fat guy entertainer? Is that what it is? Are there no more?
Probably. I mean, I'm trying to think about it. And it's like, I'm trying to think of a good fat guy, funny fat guy. I don't know.
I think that's it. I think we're so starved for that we have latched onto this man. And the fact, dude, that he's getting into like these like writing, I don't understand. He must be amazing in meetings.
Yeah, probably sells it really well.
He probably sells it really well. And I mean, if you can do that, good. But like, I just don't.
You know, you make a good point though. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm not really a big fan of him, but I'm trying to think what I've seen him in.
The thing that really soured me on him was those Reunited Apart specials he was doing during the pandemic, where he would like reunite cast members on Zoom during the pandemic.
That was such a dark time. That fucking COVID whatever. I don't want to talk about that. I'm too angry.
It was called Reunited Apart.
Disgusting.
And,
okay.
It was just like, we don't need you. There need not be a moderator for these discussions. Why are you a part of it? I don't understand. And he would just laugh
like
and
a
clap.
seal, like a fucking terrible. Yeah, and I can, as you do it, I can see that fucking face he makes. Yup. Where he kind of like he reels back.
So this movie is about
Who directed this?
Chris Columbus.
Wow.
Yeah, talk about a fucking
Okay,
crazy
go ahead,
fall
go
from
ahead.
fucking grace. Begins with a flashback where Sandler doesn't amount to his full potential as a kid by losing the 1982, I think it is, Donkey Kong Championship.
Of course.
The other guy is basically a veiled version of the guy from King of Kong.
Yes,
Billy Mitchell,
Yeah,
played
sure.
by Peter Dinklage. They send, I think, a copy of that competition up to space, which aliens find like 20 years later and think it's an attack. So they attack the Earth with the video game characters.
Right.
And
Oh, that was the big selling point, like Q*bert's in the game or the movie and stuff. Like
Kevin
all-
James, who is Sandler's childhood friend, is the president of the United States.
Naturally.
So he brings in Sandler, who's like a Geek Squad type guy, to train the military on how to defeat the aliens.
like an Ender's Game.
The thing about it, though, is that he's training them on the arcade machines, like Galactica and all that shit. Then the aliens show up, and they use real guns. So what the fuck was he training them for on the arcade machine? Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, this movie. And then Josh Gad, the whole joke is essentially he's like a creepy sex pervert. And,
Gad.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's why Sandler cast him. Maybe,
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's why he's so popular now.
There's a funny. I sent you a screenshot. I'll throw it up on Twitter too. But it was Sandler, Kevin James, and Josh Gad. And I was like, Josh Gad looks like the love child of Sandler and Kevin James.
Okay. Yeah, Chuck and Larry had a
But
kid.
he's got like a fixation with this 80s like video game character, like a scantily clad woman in like
Sure.
this adventure video game, and she comes with the aliens sent her down, and he like. But like she's not pixelated like everything else.
Is she the blonde? Is it Ashley Benson?
Maybe
Is it the blonde girl?
she's blonde.
Yeah, I think it's Ashley Benson.
just makes no sense.
Okay.
It makes no sense.
No, it checks out. Totally. Yeah, I get it.
Our fan, we're a fan of Michelle Monaghan. She's the female lead in this that falls in love with Sandler.
Of course.
You've got Sean Bean, who's funny. Brian.
Does he die?
No, but Brian Cox plays like the admiral, like the,
Sure.
There's things that are funny in it, but like, it
No,
just.
no, no. Okay, now I have to ask you this: Are you judging it too hard in the sense of like it's fucking pixels?
But it wastes the concept.
Okay,
I think the
okay.
concept is pretty cool.
Sure,
and it's
right.
based on a short film that was pretty acclaimed.
Gotcha.
But it's just like the way they explain why this is happening doesn't make much sense. And Chris Columbus is a great fucking director.
Shit like this can be excused in a goofy, dumb movie like this, but you gotta try a little. And from what you're saying, it doesn't seem like they really pulled that off.
All right, number 10, Murder Mystery. Which, this for you. You have no idea what this is.
What is this?
This is a Netflix film.
Oh, okay.
Where
It's literally called Murder Mystery.
it's called Murder Mystery.
Jesus,
Came out
why
in
don't you just call it
2019.
movie?
Sandler
My
and
God.
Sandler plays.
Wait, Brett, what is that? Let me see the poster. Oh, it's Jennifer Aniston. Okay, this rings a bell, kind of.
Sandler plays a police officer.
Yeah, this almost looks like a Poirot type thing.
He can't amount to his full potential becoming a detective, and he never.
Of course, he can't.
He never took his wife on their honeymoon to Europe. And when she corners him, he lies and goes, "That's a surprise. I got you." They end up going on this honeymoon. Exactly what kind you said. It becomes like a Poirot. They're on a yacht. An old English guy gets murdered, and they're trying to figure out who did it. I say this every time we talk about one of these movies, and I say it on Hats Off all the time. If you're trying to lampoon or parody a very specific type of movie or thing, a la a Kenneth Branagh Poirot type thing, all of the characters but your leads have to be played as straight as if they came from that universe.
Oh, does everyone play it goofy?
There's a couple like really goofy, like there's an Indian Maharaja character, like, "Hey dog," it's like that type of shit.
Oh.
It would legitimately work if the two of them were the only wacky characters
Yes.
in the story. Make drop them
agree.
into an Agatha Christie style mystery where everyone is like really.
That's a good idea.
Almost.
Why does every character need a laugh?
They're even like they
You don't
even bring
need- it's
in
so
like
unnecessary.
and it works because Jennifer Aniston's character, she's really into reading mystery books. He's a police officer that hasn't amounted to his full potential but wants to be a detective. Like, it's all there.
Yeah.
They just fuck up the execution terribly. And again, it's just boring. And it's like,
Do I even ask who directs these Netflix movies?
he's got the same. This was Kyle Newacek. Yeah, he's got. I mean, most of them are
got
Dennis
some-
Dugan, Frank Karacki. Is
Dennis
another
Dugan's
guy.
still doing them?
Dennis Dugan's still doing them.
He popped up in that Knox Goes Away movie.
He did. He pops up in a lot of these.
I
too.
was watching. I'm like, why do I know this guy? And then I watched.
He was an actor first.
Yeah. He's got a look. I like how he looks.
So on my next wrap, when we do this, I'll be checking out Murder Mystery 2. There's a second one.
You've got a special gift, my friend, because I would have. Oh my God. Okay.
This was number 9.
Yeah, I did.
Just go with it.
I did not watch this. I remember this. This is the era of him with it's him with a woman.
Yeah.
I don't like these movies at all.
No.
Like, I remember 50 First Dates was the one where I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. And like, that one with the dumb high concept of, what was it? He lost his memory, or she lost her memory.
Yeah.
Whatever. So this one, go ahead. He was pretending.
This is a remake of a really wonderful comedy called Cactus Flower with Walter Matthau.
Okay, sure.
Which essentially evolves around a man who pretends to be married to pick up women, and then a woman calls him out on it, and he needs to pretend he's going through a divorce, tasks his office assistant with playing the fake wife, and then things just get worse and worse and worse.
Is the idea with Cactus Flower like the whole thing where a lot of guys will notice this, like, you can't get any women, and then the second you get a woman, all women are attracted to you?
It plays with that.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
In this
Which
movie,
is very true.
In this movie, Sandler gets left at the altar because he's got a huge nose or something. It's just tacky. And he...
Right, so you sent me a picture of that. Does he get a nose job?
Yeah, he becomes a plastic surgeon. Where I think Matthau's a dentist in Cactus Flower.
Gotcha.
So he goes out after the wife. He overhears the wife making fun of him right before the wedding. He goes to a bar with the wedding ring. Mm-hmm. A woman... He picks up a woman there really easily, and he realized. So he spends his whole career wearing a fake wedding ring, and then he meets Brooklyn Decker is the woman.
Sure, she's a good actress, I imagine.
She's his love interest in this fucking movie.
What? She's a model. What's the problem?
It's Adam Sandler.
But he was wearing the wedding ring. That's all it takes.
So
George, widower, it's testing through the roof. Get down here.
They go like skinny dipping or something in the beach, and she finds the wedding ring in his pocket. And that's where he's like, no, I am married, but I'm getting a divorce. And she's like, well, I have to meet her. And that's where he tasks Jennifer Aniston to pay his wife.
How does that happen?
Does
he know her?
She's his office. She's his secretary
Gotcha.
or admin.
Now, I'm just wondering, as the movie goes on, is there by any chance that they fall in love? Oh, they do. I would not have seen that coming. So that's, but no, that's...
It's a real refreshing take on the genre.
It's fantastic.
And the dude then, so he's got this friend.
Are there some kids in this movie too?
She has kids. They have to become his kids. And
who plays one of them? Is an actress now, I think. Wasn't one of them one of the kids?
I don't know.
Oh no, it's the redhead who became insane. I know what I'm talking about. I think it's Bella Thorne. She was like a Nickelodeon kid or Disney.
I don't know. But then this is a good segue to... so they all go on vacation together. There's some stupid fucking reason that happens. And so
they could go on vacation in real life.
Yeah. But so the woman that Sam was with, the young woman played by Brooklyn Decker... She thinks that they're divorced, so Sandler's best friend in the movie, or cousin, is played by Nick Swartzen,
of course.
Who shows up on the holiday as well as her German Jennifer Aniston's German husband. Hello, honey, I've come to see you. So this is I've never told my Nick Swartzen story on the podcast. I know I've told you probably separately. Yeah. Several years ago, I want to say like 6 years ago, a buddy of mine, Ben, who was in our short film, are out at it was known as a comedy bar in Philadelphia because it was located very closely to a few comedy clubs and an improv theater.
Yeah.
It was called O'Shea's. It's now gone.
Is it gone?
It's gone.
Jesus.
Dive bar, we were hanging. Yeah, you've been.
I've been there. Yeah.
We're hanging out there
forever.
And there's a guy who's just like, Ben can tell the story a lot better than I can, but there's a guy across the bar that's kind of like, very clearly trying to hang. Was like shooting jokes our way, and then like said to the bartender, "Put those guys' beers on my tab." Like, and Ben turned to me and was like, "Is that Nick Swartzen?" And I believe I pulled up the roster of the comedy club that night and confirmed it's him.
He was doing the put the drinks on my tab to you guys.
To us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was dude. He was very nice.
I've heard he's a great guy.
And a very awkward moment where, like I said to Ben, I noticed that Nick was drinking like a vodka soda. So I said, "Why don't we'll send him a shot? That seems like the right thing to do." And we sent a shot over there, and he was like, "Oh, I don't do shots. Oh, I can't do shots. No, sorry guys, no way." Like, it was a very weird moment. But we hung with him. He was cool. He listened to us. He ended up
wasn't there a Pittsburgh connection?
He's a sports guy.
Pittsburgh,
Ben's a sports guy.
Okay,
they hit it off. But this cut to, we just hung out a bit. He was a really, really nice guy. Cut to recently, it came out in the news that Swartzen got pulled off stage, I think, that
was hilarious. I saw the video.
In the mountains somewhere. I forget what town, Colorado maybe?
Probably.
And all the comments on so many things I read was, "Dude, no lie, me and my buddy party with Nick Swartzen in fucking bumblefuck." Like, I would screenshot them and send them to Ben and be like, "I feel so dirty and cheap." Like, apparently he just loves partying with random people.
That's fun.
It's so fun.
I would. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it catches up to you, obviously.
It does, but
what the fuck? Why not?
Again,
if you're like a B- celebrity, that's got to be fun as shit.
Can you imagine some
like
of
you
these
get recognized,
movies,
but you don't get recognized?
You've got Peter Dante and Nick Swartzen hanging out the bar after a shoot, and Sandler comes over, and dude, it was probably so much fun. That's where I'm starting to realize, all right, I have respect that he's figured out a way to.
Fairly unrelated, but just drinking near a celebrity. I was reminded recently, I don't know why, maybe I was listening to Gilbert on some old Howard Stern or something. But I was just thinking, because when me and you went and saw Gilbert at Helium in Philly, Gilbert Gottfried I'm talking about.
And the now very famous Shane Gillis opened for him that night.
Yes, that's true. And I'm getting drunk, as I was wont to do in my past days. But we got to get a picture with Gilbert. And I just remember afterwards, you were just like, "Dude, I think he was terrified of you."
You were kind of very abrasive. He's a very little man.
He was a little guy, and I'm like, putting my arm around his
prom
shoulder.
child,
like,
man. I love prom child moves.
Both prom childs, man. They were so good. And I had to go up later and tell him again.
Yeah.
He really did. As I look back, I'm like, he was fucking terrified. That's all.
Yeah, it was a fun time,
That was a good time.
So Nick Swartzen's in a lot of these movies. I mean,
Sure.
he starts at a certain point. And,
So just go with it. Thumbs down.
Just go with it is 9. After that, I really wanted to rank this movie lower because it's a gross concept. That's My Boy is number 8 for me.
Okay.
Which-
See, to me, I'm like, I can understand what you're saying, but it's a little bit of a bold concept, in my opinion.
It is, and the fact
I did not see this movie, obviously, because it has
one of your favorite people.
I don't like to watch.
He's the worst part of it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I almost thought maybe him playing. Actually, it's not even against type. He plays a nebbishy fucking. It's Andy Samberg we're talking about.
No one can be the straight man and act straight. They always have to try to be crazy and it's like.
Oh, he couldn't even just. That's what I'm saying. He can't just play. Jesus Christ! Because one thing that was a little bit redeeming was it looked like I'm seeing the previews and I'm like, oh, this is a bit of a back to form for Sandler. He's playing the
hard R rating with Sandler, especially after watching some of these like schmaltzy, like it works for me.
So one thing is, one of the reasons I really liked Sandler as a kid was he used to do comedy albums.
Yes.
Have you ever listened to any of them?
I have. It's been a very long time.
I used to fucking.
He's a funny stand-up.
No. They're like bits.
Oh yeah, that too.
And the songs, he would do funny songs and like audio bits. I love audio, like sound effects and like there's one where he had like a character, I forget exactly what it was, but it's like Conan O'Brien's an admissions guy at a university and he goes and it's like just funny shit like that. But he had that one song, I'm Steve motherfucking Jamalopoulos. It was like a Greek name and he was like a real asshole character. And I'm like, that's what this character kind of looked like. Had a really funny music video too.
Yeah.
Where he's just like a dick. The character's a real dick. I'm like, okay, cool, back to form. But then Samberg, and I'm like, eh.
It's for what it's worth.
Tell them why it's a gross concept if they haven't seen it.
Well, it's this is the other thing too. It's like even as a child, Sandler's characters have to be fawned over by attractive women, and so it's basically a kid who's like 14, starts an affair with his teacher, played by Susan Sarandon's daughter, Eva
Murray,
who's so hot. I mean, she looks great in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
she's a really funny actress too.
You're 14. I don't know.
And then later in the movie, they go visit her in prison, and it's Susan Sarandon plays that. So it's
that is
cool
funny.
connection.
That is good.
And like they're both having fun with it. He
assume.
gets her pregnant, and she gets sent to prison, but has a son. Sandler tries to raise him. It doesn't really work out. And so
the son is Andy Samberg.
His son is Andy Samberg. Years later, the son's a wealthy, about to marry into this very successful family. And of course, Sandler needs money. So he comes back out of the woodwork and shows up. And dude, there's so many jokes in this movie that do not work for me. There's so much of this, like, old women in Adam Sandler movies are inexplicably horny. And it becomes something that he just minds over and over again. Well, there's always like a shot of a woman in the crowd, like unbuttoning her shirt and like Sandler like making a scowl face. Like
you must have seen, like, watching these all back to back, these jokes repeated over and over.
It was like when we did the Mel Brooks thing, where it was like, I'm like, all right, yep, I get it. All right, like, come on, dude. It's just like there's a scene where he can't find anything to jerk off to. Donnie is the character's name, and he finds a picture of the grandmother in her youth. And he does it. And she's walking to the bathroom the next morning, the grandmother, and she's like, oh, my. And she comes in the room, and he's got tissues all over the bed. And she starts cleaning up tissues. And then Andy Samberg was like, oh, don't touch no, you don't have to help, Grandma. Go back. Don't touch the tissues. And then he's like, I'm so sorry, he's sick. And as, like, the grandmother's leaving, she's like, you should tell him if he's sick, he shouldn't be masturbating so much. And it's like... What the fuck is what
is the joke she knew?
She knew about it, and then he wakes up and was like, yeah, that's right, that broad knew. And it's like there's one moment, I don't know if my brain was legitimately cooked at this point, but Adam Sandler, he's like Andy Samberg turns around, and when he was a kid, Sandler had given him a New Kids on the Block tattoo, but he grew up, so their heads are all stretched out.
Oh, okay.
And then Sandler's like, what's the matter? I got a tattoo when I was 14. And he turns around, and he's got a tattoo of Tattoo from Fantasy Island. Oh. And he's like, it's a tattoo of a tattoo. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? The one redeeming fucking scene of the movie is someone I do like, Will Forte, plays Sandberg's best man, and he takes care of the bachelor party trip, and he books them at a men's spa. And like Sandler, they come over with a tray of like drinks. He's like, all right, now we're talking. Let's do the shots. And each is like, what the fuck is this? It's like, it's cucumber infused water, sir. There's one sight gag in it where Sandler's in the towel, getting a massage, and that she's moving down, and he's got a $5 bill hanging out of the towel.
Funny,
and he's
kind
like,
of.
What, you think I could get something extra? And she's like no, we can do like a deep facial tissue. She's like, honey, I'm not asking for a finger in the ass. I'm just asking you to yank my crank. And we cut to all the other guys are in the same room. And Sandberg goes, Donnie, it's not a fucking brothel. And Sandler goes, then I don't know what the fuck we're doing here.
See, that's the Sandler I want.
Dude.
I want the dirt bag. Bring the dirt bag back. I know he's a family man now. He doesn't want to do this shit.
I have to read you this bit of IMDb trivia that kind of, I'm like, you know what?
So the movie, God, that pisses me off. It seems like a wasted opportunity to get him back in that sleaze role.
When Andy Samberg got married, he invited Adam Sandler to the wedding. Sandler shows up as his character from the movie, outfit and all.
That's pretty good.
Hey, what's up, man? But it's like, after watching the schmaltzy family Drek, this was such a welcome change of pace.
Right.
And seeing him go like, fuck, man. Like, it just, I was like, okay, I like this.
That's what
I like this character.
Dude, if you got to listen to those old, I wonder if they hold, I'm listening to them when I go home.
You should, yeah.
Those old comedy albums he did. Dude, one, I remember the big one was What the Hell Happened to You? Or Me? Or something like that. They're vulgar and dirty and like really crass, and I remember crying laughing at these things.
It's like there's a few things again in this movie that don't work. The girl has a brother played by Milo Ventimiglia.
Close enough,
yeah, something like that.
You got it.
And the whole joke is like, I'm a fucking military man, and I'm like, and it's like, there's the whole thing where it turns out like the brother and sister are having like sex and like an incest, and it's just like, of course, like I've talked about this. I don't like when the female character is like they have to give her excuses to be evil. There just can't be a natural dissolving of a relationship.
Sure.
Like Sandberg, they're not right together. Like that's okay in movies.
Oh,
He
doesn't
that.
marry the girl?
No, he doesn't end up marrying her.
What's her problem? Oh, because she's fucking
having
the brother.
Fucking her brother.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, right.
But like
gotcha.
Sandler thinks she's having an affair and he's wrong, and then Sandberg's like, "No, Donnie, like you don't know her. I don't believe." Like it's like tired, contrived, third act like redemption. I'm just like I was so done at that
Sandberg,
point.
man. I never liked that Lonely Island shit.
But dude, Sandler and Blake Clark plays the girl's father. He's great as always. Will Forte is really funny in it. Susan Sarandon, like I said, she's great.
That's a clever stunt casting with the daughter and her.
There's this woman, you've seen her in things, Anna Gasteyer, I think her name is.
Anna Gasteyer. She was great on SNL.
She is fucking so funny.
I was so pissed at
everything she's been in.
After SNL, she just kind of...
Rachel Dratch,
Yeah.
Also really funny in some of these
Anna
movies.
Gasteyer might have got married, had kids or something. I don't know.
But she was, man...
Always liked her. She used to do Sweaty Balls with Molly Shannon.
Yeah, that's right. Really funny. All right, number 7. This the only reason this is pretty high is because it's one of like the big ones I grew up with constantly rewatching, Mr. Deeds.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen the full thing because
It's not good.
Pretty sure I turned it off. I fucking hated it.
I hated it this time around.
I just can recall I was watching it. Winona Ryder's just an absolute dud in the movie.
They're really bad together.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. And I just remember the scene where it's just like the shit that my least favorite Sandler. He's like, I have a dream of writing greeting cards. And he's in like the fucking small town. And they're like, read us another one. And it's all like the fucking dumb hick townsfolk. He's like, when you're building a love bridge, oh, great card.
Dude,
I'm like, I think I may have turned it off then. I'm like, I can't watch this shit. And I was younger. I would watch a slop. I think maybe Totoro's a little funny in the movie.
This is the first Totoro appearance.
It's got the what is it? Frostbitten hand.
Yeah,
I think.
Sandler has a frostbitten foot that he's like, come on, hit it. Now I'm just all my Sandler impression is just the Donnie character now.
Dude, the greeting card shit.
Yeah.
Like what? First of all, what?
Yeah.
His dream is to be a greeting card writer.
I think in the original, I could be wrong.
that Jimmy Stewart?
Mr. Deeds Goes to Town.
Was that Stewart?
I don't know. Is it?
Well, yeah. Let me write a little. One day they'll make Adam Sandler movies from my greeting card film, Mr. Deeds. Gotta work on my Stewart.
It's Frank Capra directed it, but it's Gary Cooper and Gene Arthur.
Oh, Gary Cooper.
Longfellow Deeds.
He was gay, Gary
is
Cooper?
a part-time greeting card poet. So they take it from this. Okay. But they could have left it. They didn't need to take that because it's dumb.
It's so fucking stupid.
It's stupid.
Who remembered no one gives a shit.
Yeah, it's
make him anything else.
Who is really funny in this is Conchata Farrell. Berta from 2.5 Men, the live-in. Or
right.
She plays like his surrogate mother.
Okay.
She's really funny in it.
I just hate Sandler with townsfolk.
Dude, it's the whole movie.
It's horrible.
And then it's like,
and like what? She's like, she has some ulterior motive. It's like she's a reporter.
This is gross.
Oh, because he inherits a bunch of money, right?
Yeah, he inherits $40 billion.
Fucking garbage.
And he has to go to New York, and obviously, again, a wealthy, a weaselly male authority figure, Peter Gallagher, plays the guy that's trying to pull the strings and orchestrate the. And Winona Ryder plays like a tabloid journalist who wears a camera and kind of goes out and captures footage of him getting in fights and that type of shit. Dude, I understand there has to be some, like, you're watching a movie, so you have to leave suspension of disbelief. Yeah. But when the news program runs the footage,
it looks movie quality or something?
No, it's footage from the movie.
It's terrible.
It's the same footage.
That's inexcusable.
It's inexcusable.
100%
inexcusable.
Yes.
Dude, at least throw some filters on it.
And that's the shit I started to notice with these movies. I was like, they're lazy.
It wouldn't even make sense where she was standing.
Right. I mean, come on, man. Unacceptable.
It's like...
Who directed this piece of shit?
Stephen Brill, who's another Sandler director.
Yeah.
He did something I really like, which is Heavyweights. I was a big fan of that movie.
Oh, everyone likes Heavyweights.
I love Heavyweights.
It's a great movie.
But he's done a lot of these Sandler movies. And it's just like... It's shit like that where I'm like, if so much of your plot is going to revolve around this... And again, dude, what do I hate in a movie? What trope? The liar revealed. And this is just, it's bubbling. Because she's, not who she says he is, but she's falling in love and the feelings are real. Dude, The just because it was fake, but the feelings are real speech, I can't stomach it.
It's horrid. It's horrid.
It's such a waste of screen time.
I know.
Because you know it's going to happen. And then he's, oh, God, with the greeting card thing. I'm surprised this made it as hard as high as it did on my list.
This is the schmaltz.
Yeah.
I can't stand schmaltzy Sandler. I fucking hate it, dude. I have no stomach for it whatsoever. I think it's because I grew up on those comedy albums.
Yeah, it probably,
where it's like,
this is not the
where
same
it's him
thing.
talking to Conan O'Brien as a weird character going, I looked at my asshole in the mirror today. It's like, that was funny.
I was craving that.
That's what, yes.
I should swap That's My Boy with this because it's just.
At least that's what I'm saying. That's My Boy. It sounds dirty and he plays a
raunchy.
fucking, like a scumbag.
Yeah.
The Deeds thing is repulsive. I hate nice guy Sandler. I hate it.
There's one pretty funny.
He's got a heart of gold.
Where he I don't know if you call this a joke. So he's like to her, like, where are you from? And she wants to basically become his ideal version of a woman. She's like, I'm just from a small town in New Hampshire. Oh, what's it called? It's called Manchesterton Fieldville, Iowa.
Oh, and then there is one.
And
Isn't
there is one.
Yeah, that's an old gag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's an old gag.
Yeah. It's an okay gag, but
if you're like this undercover tabloid journalist,
have
something ready to go.
Man, you got it.
These movies are so lazy. They started to get.
That's what I'm saying, and I really
shockingly
lazy.
And
that's what, like, to jump back where you started. You were saying this is why he became kind of like
a punchline in a way. Yeah,
because he was making this shit,
dude. And I understand. Again, the guy, like, that's why I read that at the beginning. Here's what Sandler movies are, because he just kept doing that over and over again. And I understand you have to kind of, after a while, get more inventive, but he didn't get clever with the stuff.
No, and I really
doing.
think he was trying to redeem, like I said, dude, go listen to his albums. They're filthy. And it's like, no, I'm the nice guy. Greeting cards.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, so number 6. This is
out of like 30. We'll get to the other half.
You called me while I was watching this, and I think you might have a different opinion on it. I just ranked it high because I did enjoy it, but I didn't care for it that much, which is The Waterboy.
I just remember this being a huge laugh in theaters.
Yeah.
The fucking theater was rolling, dude. It's got this was one of those yeah baby lines that went on for at least a decade. You can do it. As like Rob Schneider is like the backwood bayou kind of like
again
weirdo.
The people in the crowd get that one line.
Yeah, that was. I mean, you can do it, and then like not only that is. Cut his fucking head off.
Yeah.
Huge laugh. I haven't seen this in forever. It had a lot going for it. I was a big Happy Days fan as a kid. So you got the Fonzie element.
He's great.
He was really funny in it.
Here's another thing.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks. Huge laugh. The Roy Orbison tattoo. Huge laugh. What Mama Don't Know Won't Hurt Her.
I was going to say, that's another thing in these movies. There's always like an insert shot of a close-up of an ass. A man's ass.
Right,
It's never the actor.
Yeah,
it's always
right.
a close-up shot. Yeah. It happens in this. It happened in Mr. D. It's always, and again, horny old people, particularly women. It's like so much of this.
I don't know if the movie holds up. I haven't seen it in forever.
I just didn't like him in it. I thought the character was grating, and I thought it wasn't very funny.
This is the beginning, I think, of I'm going to do the voice.
He has to do a shtick.
I feel like this is the beginning. Who directed this one?
Frank Karachi.
Karachi, maybe.
Karachi?
Maybe.
He's also directed 50 First Dates, I think. No, I'm sorry. The Wedding Singer and The Ridiculous Six and Zookeeper with Kevin James and The Click and the Jackie Chan Around the World in 80 Days. Like, this guy's, yeah.
I mean, dude, Waterboy was huge. It was huge. And
I think that's why.
I think the conceit, too, and this was a bit like the Happy Gilmore thing, where he was an incredible, he had an amazing slap shot.
Right.
But he couldn't control it. So, like, the conceit where he's just this meek, I'm just the Waterboy, do you want a drink? And all of a sudden he's a fucking insane tackler. There was something fun about that. It was that physical, visceral comedy where he's just annihilating dudes. And it's funny, too, because what did I say about Longest Yard? There's no universe in which Sandler can play football. And now I'm going back on it. He's fine. Like, I bought it totally watching this movie.
I'm going to read you a news story from Variety from 2000. The granddaughter of silent film comic Harold Lloyd has filed a $50 million lawsuit against the Walt Disney Company, alleging that it copied its 1990 hit The Waterboy from Lloyd's 1924 classic The Freshman. She sued Disney and Adam Sandler for ripping off The Freshman. It's very similar.
Is it?
Plot-wise.
I haven't seen The Freshman.
The Freshman is Harold Lloyd tries out for the football team, doesn't get in, becomes the water boy, and then leads them to victory. So very similar. Obviously, there's many differences.
Is he a hard tackler?
He just ends up becoming a good, when
gotcha.
he doesn't know really
good leatherhead.
Yeah. I don't know if anything
She
ever
win?
happened with that.
Yeah,
but
they probably
I don't know
settled.
if she did, but it's interesting that
They definitely pilfered it.
I think so.
Come on, he's a water boy.
Yeah.
It's a
And Sandler is like a comedy student, and he's written a lot of these movies are written with Tim Herlihy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure after a certain point, dude, again, because like these scripts start to be like Mad Libs, where it's like
absolutely
plug this in, hot woman, blah blah. Blah. It's like.
So you didn't like him, but beyond that, how's the movie? What'd you think?
The movie's Winkler, Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
You get the regular ensemble.
The Blake Clark with the nipples was
hilarious.
huge laugh.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this movie had belly laughs when it came out.
This was a movie
people
that
loved it.
I remember my cousin, like, we always had different tastes, and like we were the same age, but he loved this movie, and it just like missed it.
I loved it when I was a kid.
To me.
Now there's obviously the big line is "You can do it."
Mm-hmm.
Does the water boy have a line?
He's like, I'm a Bobby Boucher. It's like shit like that. I don't know if there's
Bobby
anything-
Boucher. Yes, of course.
It's like
Yeah.
That's what I was talking. I was like, is the joke that he's like a mentally handicapped person? Like those lines are
little
really
bit.
blurred, and it's like I don't know.
But he's a
what the-
backwood bayou guy too.
Yeah,
That's
look,
that
dude,
whole
it's
thing.
nothing as heinous as like the movie Radio. Like this is, please. All right, number 5. You're gonna be surprised here, but it's 50 First Dates.
See, I remember hating this.
I think it was just like pleasant enough.
Okay.
And this was also very early on in my watch where I wasn't like.
Okay, sure, burned out. I remember.
It's a ludicrous concept.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I've seen the whole thing, but I just remember catching the end where she was painting him. And there's like one where it's like an egg.
It says AK.
I fucking burst out laughing. I thought it was the dumbest thing
It's
I'd
so
ever seen.
stupid.
And you know what it was? I think I caught like the last 20 minutes. And I was just like, I laughed so hard. I was like, I don't need to watch this piece of shit.
A couple things that are enjoyable about it is Blake Clark and Sean Astin is fucking hysterical as her brother.
I remember people saying he steals the show.
He's
in this.
great. And he always wears like mesh.
Does he have kind of a lisp?
He has a lisp.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd plays like a doctor in it, and he's like, "Doctor, I have a friend of mine is noticing that he's starting to wet the bed," something like that. And it's a funny. There is also Rob Schneider plays like the Hawaiian.
Okay.
He's got like a shark bite on him, and I developed a soft spot for the Rob Schneider wacky best friend character. I'm sorry, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
And he's having fun with it. And you know what? Like, I might even... Let's see how I feel after the second round. I might do the Happy Madison produced movies. I might do the Deuce Bigelow.
Okay.
And all that stuff. The Hot Chick, The Animal. I might do all the... Yeah. Really hate myself.
Hey, that's a huge bitch.
But
Remember that?
I was watching that clip online the other day.
Were you really?
It's pretty funny.
It had some laughs.
Yeah.
That era. You
I know,
can
you
still
could
make
do it.
jokes.
But he's
Well,
funny.
it's also
in it.
funny too because you never see her head, right?
No, it's always
That's
out of
fucking.
frame.
That is funny.
It's executed. Yeah.
That is funny.
But the whole concept of this movie is absolutely ridiculous. That your brain would reset after falling asleep. And like,
Is this some kind of dumb remake,
no?
or is it just some stupid high concept?
It's just a high concept.
yeah, idiotic. Oh, what happened? She got hit in the head.
She gets in a car accident and thinks that every day is the same day, and she does the same thing every day. And every night, her brother and her dad like reset the whole house and fill up her soap, so it looks like everything's the same. And it's just like it'd be much easier just to be honest with the girl. Like,
Well,
why
not
are
only
you...
that, why would you have to do all that? Because she wouldn't know anyway.
No.
She'd be like, "Oh, I guess the soap was this
No
low
one,
yesterday."
no one fucking remembers what's in their shampoo bottle.
But it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't remember.
No, it does. It's it's only it's endearing enough as a concept.
Fine.
Whatever.
I just remember that fucking paintings at the end, and I was like, "This is the dumbest movie."
There is this stupid thing of like Sandler's such a ladies' man. He plays a Hawaiian marine biologist or something, and his whole thing is he just bangs tourists that come to the island and then like makes up an excuse for, like he's a spy. And it's like there's all these. The movie begins the montage of all these really attractive women like calling their friends like it was the best vacation ever. I met this guy, let me tell you. And then, of course...
I wonder if he goes like an ego thing.
It has to
You
be.
got to make me a lady
But
killer.
then, of course, one of them's like an old lady who's like, and let me tell... And then there's a guy in one. I think it's one of the...
That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny.
Who is the guy? I forget. Oh, it's Kevin James. Kevin James is just on the phone. Was like, I gotta tell you, it was a yeah. It was
That's unexpected.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I was probably just I actually like this is another one I probably went to the movies to see, so I'm probably nostalgia is carrying it quite a bit.
Now, this is when I didn't like the rom-coms. So anytime he was like wooing a girl, I was like, nope.
He's done doing them now though because he's so old. So it's like at least that's over.
Sure. Now he's doing what? It's just Sandy Wexler's or something, or is that what the movie's called?
You know what's a good movie of his? The Hustle, the Philadelphia basketball one that came out a couple years ago. That's a really good movie.
Is he like a kids team or something?
No, that's the Kevin James one I think you're thinking of. No, he's a talent scout and he discovers a guy that plays basketball, takes him to Philly.
This is ringing the faintest of bells.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
It's fun.
All right.
They fucked up my entire neighborhood for weeks shooting it, but it's good.
They were filming that fucking Bryan Cranston, Kevin Hart movie in my neighborhood that went nowhere.
The Untouchables. Paul Feig directed that, I think.
Did he?
I believe so. No, maybe not.
Yeah, they were in my neighborhood for a while. I didn't even see them doing anything.
The Untouchables in that?
That was the remake, yeah, but it was called something else. There was another one I caught like 10 minutes of that. And I'm like, this movie fucking sucks. Fucking stupid.
It was called The Upside. It was directed by Neil Berger.
Neil Berger.
Yeah, Berger. All right, so after 50 First Dates, I have number 4 is Click, which also doesn't make a lot of sense. Also is contrived and stupid and sentimental. He's really good in it.
I remember, and it just always annoyed me. People would be like, did you see Click? It's really good. I'm like, no, I didn't see fucking Click. And they're like, no. It's like really good. And like the end is like touching. And I'd be like, dude, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk anymore. Like it used to bother me when people would say that. Now, I'm assuming it's a touching ending.
It is, but it's not super like
sappy.
Yeah, and he's genuinely really good in it. I mean, it's
he can act.
The only thing it does that I hate is that like, you know, basically he gets the remote that can control things, and he ends up fast forwarding through a lot of his life, and then the remote auto programs and starts skipping through giant gaps. And so, like, he wakes up in the future, and it's like, it's supposed to only be, like, 2020, but it looks like the Jetsons level shit. Like, I hated that, like, whenever you have to make the future in a movie, it's like, let's get so high concept. And it's like...
Well, we've lived long enough now that, you know, all the promises of the future...
It's the same, just a little bit different. It's not... There's a couple, like, iPad things I'll give him credit for, shit like that, but I just like the concept. I like the Truman Show-esque Groundhog Day. I like
high concept's not bad.
No,
necessarily. It's a lot of fun. A lot of times.
There are some funny moments. There are some unique gags he does.
I just remember hearing it's sentimental, and I was like, no, thank you.
I'm not going to say it's not, but it's not as heavy as.
And I also really hated
some of these other movies.
He looked smug on the poster, and I was like, fuck this movie. Yeah, exactly.
The worst is that he finds the remote in a Bed Bath & Beyond in the Beyond section.
Yeah. It's okay.
But it's a commercial for the fucking store.
Okay, duh, of course. I'm an idiot.
He also does this really weird thing in his movies where like he finds Nick Swardson wearing the Bed Bath & Beyond vest. He's like, hey, where can I buy a Universal remote? There's an exchange. And he's like, ooh, I don't actually really work here. It's like that joke comes up a lot, and it's like, what's the joke?
It's kind of funny.
There's in Mr. Deeds, when he's about to read the greeting card, he's like, wait a minute. They just told him he inherited $40 billion. And he's like, you're not a cop. And the guy goes, I know. I rented the uniform at a costume store. It's like,
wow.
What's the joke? What is the joke there?
It's absurdity. It's silliness.
My God.
I'm not surprised Click's that high, though. I had a feeling it would be.
And you get, like, Walken playing, like, the Doc Brown.
I was going to say, I couldn't remember who did that.
Yeah, it's a remote. Oh, like point and click.
Is Fonzie the dad?
Fonzie's the dad. Right. And do the old Marge. She's the mom.
Marge, can you get me your dad?
Old Julie Kavner. It's her last live-action performance to date.
Lisa, we're gonna do another 20
she's
seasons.
Great as his parents. They're terrific.
She's a good actress. Like their Radio Days.
You know who his wife is in this?
Give me a hint.
Pearl Harbor.
Oh, Kate Beckinsale?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Kate Beckinsale.
Well, this is always the stupidest.
I know
parts
she
of these
dated
movies.
Pete Davidson, but still, give me some, like.
What do you want? Give me. Who do you want?
So I'm just trying to think. Who would be an actress?
Anna Gasteyer.
I was just going to say that. Perfect.
A beautiful mid for Adam Sandler.
I wouldn't even call her that. I mean, I think she's an attractive woman. Like, I don't. It's just he shoots, but it would be believable if he came off as like confident and charming.
Here's the problem:
and
you're not thinking like an agent or a producer who's trying to get an actress in the Adam Sandler movie.
But show us the character, like. You know what I was thinking of?
You're looking for realism. You're not going to get it.
I'm doing a video right now on Caddyshack 2. It'll be out probably by the time this gets out. And that movie was intended, obviously, as a Rodney Dangerfield vehicle where there's a love interest played by Diane Cannon, but Jackie Mason plays in it, and it doesn't work.
Oh, Diane Cannon.
And I was thinking...
I can do Mason.
I forget who the love interest is in Back to School, but she's way out of Rodney's league.
Oh, it's... what's her face? Sally Kellerman.
But it works because Rodney is so like confident and charming and funny.
Absolutely.
But Sandler doesn't bring that. In all these movies, when it begins, him and the wife are having a conflict.
I hate it. Dude, I don't want to see that shit, man.
Your overworked husband is like...
I don't... Like, it really... You know what it's like? It's almost like that Superman thing. Because you said, like, Sandler's never had a normal life.
No.
So it's like... This is what Clark Kent is.
Exactly.
And it's like, fuck yourself, dude. Like, I'm telling you, it was an earned resentment of him.
Yeah.
It really was earned.
He's got the evil boss played by David Hasselhoff is kind of funny.
Stunt casting, but okay.
There's a scene where he, you have to work this weekend, and he pauses and farts right in his face, and then hits play, and he's like, I taste shit. It's kind of funny. There's moments of levity in it. The laws of the universe in this movie are quickly thrown out.
That's fine. That's okay.
He starts to be able to like change his tone, like his color of his face. Like
maybe not.
Yeah, they went too out of control with it. So number 3, we're wrapping up soon. Number 3 for me is Billy Madison.
Yeah. Every time I don't know, it holds up.
It's good. It's a lot of fun.
It's kind of a sloppy movie, but it's his first movie. Well, we're not going to count Going Overboard.
We're not going to count Going Overboard. I think he lays the goofiness on a little too much for it to be believable. Again, because he's got the hot teacher that falls for him. He does a little too much that doesn't quite... His motivation doesn't quite make sense to me because he's shown in the whole movie that he doesn't care. Why his character is so concerned about running the company, it's never really made...
Well, you could say it was in the family. And
Darren McGavin is great as the dad.
Oh, sure.
And Norm as the friend.
Funny.
It's
Bradley
great.
Whitford. Maybe you just don't want to lose the company to Bradley Whitford.
Josh Mostel playing the principal. Larry Hankin as like the good guy on the board. It's really good. Yep. The maid,
Mrs. Lippy.
There's.
Or is it Libby?
Oh, and Chris Farley as the bus driver.
Fuck, the bus driver is the fun. Doyle Rules. See, that's what I'm saying. This is a movie that had. This was those old comedies,
and it had everything that this movie needed to be.
If Pete in Your Pants is cool, I'm Miles Davis. And that's another thing too. I was a kid at the time, so I like the kids in the movie. Yeah, the kids aren't bad in this movie.
They don't overstay their welcome.
They're just there. Yeah, and they have their little moments. It's funny, but it's like when the kid turns around and he sees these pissed his pants.
Yeah.
Go!
Well, you know what?
Shit like that would kill me as a kid.
You know what would have been the easy joke there was that Sandler's Billy Madison's hey, look, we spilled water on our pants, but the fact that he's pissing yourself is cool.
It's funny.
It works.
And it's juvenile, and it's not trying not to be juvenile.
And I like how he stays friends with the younger kids, even as he keeps going.
I thought that was...
And then he goes, and they're like, I wish I could be in high school like you. Don't you say that.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Hey, kids, you like Sloppy Joes?
Yeah.
Absurd. But really...
Man, you're scaring us.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But, and just what's the line in the beginning? I love how it starts off with such weird shit. They're flicking pickles at the window to race them. And then the line is, who would you rather fuck, Meg Ryan or Jack Nicholson?
I think so, yeah.
And it's like, okay, Jack Nicholson when? Or something like that. It's so funny.
There's also a really funny joke. It makes no sense that
go ahead.
Everyone's sitting around watching the television, the father, Darren McGavin, Norm, and it's like, coming in News at 9, a wealthy billionaire's son cheats his way through middle school. And Darren McGavin goes, what the hell? And Norm goes, now maybe it's someone else. It's just a great... Perfect.
It poop again?
Yeah.
That used to kill me. Shut up, devil woman.
It's what's his name? Jim Downing or Downey. Who's the guy that's on?
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
The classic speech of we're all dumber for having
and may
sat
God have
through
mercy
that.
on your soul. Just a
classic.
simple no would have done. Yeah.
It's shit like that. All of a sudden there's a big board behind it.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to explain this shit.
No.
And there's the classic other thing too, because I totally forgot. I always forget. And it's such a good role is when I knew a guy who went with her or whatever. He's like, no, you didn't.
No.
Yeah, but you could imagine that whole back and forth is so
there's
good.
There's a really sweet moment where you can tell Adam Sandler breaks. It's when the montage of studying where Miss Veronica Vaughn is, every time he gets a question right, she's undoing her top, and then he gets one wrong and she buttons it back up. And then like later we cut to him, he goes, 1842, and he's like, that is correct. It's Chris Farley. And it's just like,
see that dude, those old Sandler movies had that absurd factor,
right?
With like the penguin,
yes,
and all of a sudden it's Chris Farley taking his shirt off, like no explanation needed. It's not needed.
Yeah,
it's just there to make you laugh, and you lose that in these as he goes on.
Yeah,
they get away from that. I don't know. Maybe it's just a writing thing because I think Fred Wolf was working on a lot of these early movies. Who knows? But man, you're right. Now, wait, it could be someone else.
Yeah, such a funny moment.
Norm is so funny in that movie, man. Holy shit.
So number 2 is, this is, for me growing up, was my Sandler movie, Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Probably not everyone's favorite. No. But this was the one I remember going to the movies to see it.
I did too.
I had the VHS tape. I was the same age as the kid, pretty much.
Okay.
There's something, you know what I like about it too? It removes that absurd factor. It's the first Sandler movie where he feels like a real person, and
that's a good point.
It's very refreshing.
It's true though. He did to a degree.
Basically, being the same age now that Sandler is in that movie, dude. The fucking line about like, I guess we can make McDonald's breakfast. I haven't been up for that in decades. It's like, it's just like all the things about being in your 30s that, like, I guess when you have kids, it challenges all that stuff when you felt young in your 20s. And I mean, I like that. Obviously, there's some very bizarre casting, like Jon Stewart as
he's the actual father.
The actual father.
Right.
There is a joke in this movie that nearly ruins it for me, which is the 2 attorney friends who are gay men.
And it's Dante and
it's Dante
Covert,
and Covert,
isn't it? Yeah.
And it's just like the other guy's like, oh, I can't get used to them kissing, and it's like Sandler's like, why? We were all bros and now they're bros that kiss. What's the big? It's like, I don't understand what we're doing here with this. Did he just want to like mock his friends and make them kiss on camera?
Yeah.
Like,
you got to understand, what was this? 99? Yeah. Just men kissing.
Yeah.
Funny.
This was definitely the first time I saw it.
Yeah, it's funny. And it's 2 guys you wouldn't expect to be kissing.
Right.
But it still kind of is. I wouldn't expect those 2 guys to necessarily be kissing. There's a humorous factor in that.
I didn't think so.
Anytime 2 people you don't expect to be together.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's always funny.
Yeah.
But straight gay relationship.
And you know
what? It's the odd couple.
The woman here in his league.
Christy Swanson?
No, Joey Lauren Adams.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Perfect.
Not bad.
And you know what? Not only that, here you can see her falling in love for him in a realistic way. There's not just that moment. Like,
what was she, the social worker? I can't remember.
No, she is Leslie Mann's sister. Leslie Mann is Stewart's girlfriend.
Gotcha.
And she's an attorney. Everyone's an attorney in this movie.
How did he get the
kid? Jon Stewart's character is in China, and the mother sends him, and he decides that...
Were they roommates?
It was a weekend. Sandler and him are roommates.
Gotcha, okay.
The kid shows up. It's a weekend. He can't take him to child services. He decides to keep the kid for the weekend and ends up falling for the kid. Then child services wants to get him back. He goes to court. Dude, there's some really funny moments in this. Again, talk about a character that adds nothing to the plot. Steve Buscemi is the homeless guy.
With the eyes. Crazy Eyes.
Sacha McMuffin. No, Crazy Eyes is Mr. Deeds.
Which
This
is also Buscemi.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's here, but it's here. He's just a homeless guy. That's the joke.
Fair enough.
And they start tripping people in the park on rollerblades with the stick.
Yeah, I remember that being very funny.
Buscemi comes down in the shopping cart.
Yes.
It flies out of the thing. It's like, whoa, buddy, you got to watch the...
That got a big laugh. I remember the huge laugh at the end was Sid's 5-year plan.
Refresh my memory.
Remember Sid with Christy Swanson was going to be with Sid, and he was just the cook at Hooters.
Yeah, that's right.
That was his 5-year plan.
The old man in it who has like the rotted teeth, he's really funny. There's also a really funny Rob Schneider character as the Greek, I guess, delivery man.
Ethnic, we'll say.
Who's also in Mr. Deeds.
Yeah.
That character appears in Mr. Deeds. Yeah.
I like the ethnic Rob Schneider, too. I agree with that.
It's just like...
I agree. He should do black.
Hip-hop?
Yeah.
Hip-hop-anonymous? It's...
Yeah, it works. It's stupid.
The scene when they're in the courtroom and Buscemi's on the stand, he's like, if OJ can get away with murder, then surely Sonny can get away with keeping his kid. This guy knows what I'm talking about. It's just the black guy sitting down. I was like... And then later,
it's funny.
Rob Schneider's like, Sonny and kid go together like lamb and tuna fish. And everyone's like, huh? And he's like, oh, you want me to say maybe spaghetti and meatball? And Buscemi's like, yeah, being that this is America, if you like spaghetti and meatballs, you can get the hell out. And then he goes, hey, I'll come down there to give you crew cut. And he goes, let's see your clippers. They start fighting together. It's great.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, you're making me... okay, there were some parts of this movie I liked. I didn't love this movie when I saw it, but...
it's got that nostalgia for me.
I hear you.
And that's the singing kangaroo. I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot more now as an adult, seeing the...
Interesting.
But yeah, Big Daddy, it's not perfect.
Yeah,
I just liked it a lot. And number one is Happy Gilmore.
So it is.
It's, to me, it's the best.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna rewatch it.
It's the funniest.
It's really funny from what I remember.
It's ridiculously funny. It works. It makes sense.
Yes.
The Ben Stiller orderly. You have
so that role's so fucking funny.
Christopher McDonald is.
When he knocks the air conditioner off, and it's that callback.
Yeah.
Because she jumped on the hood, right? Initially, the old lady.
Right.
To get out. Like, she wanted to escape.
Yeah.
And then he crushes her with the air conditioner. It's shit like that.
He looks out and it's laying perfectly on her stomach.
Exactly. Yeah.
And she's great. The grandmother character is great.
Yeah.
Julie Bowen is at that point feels like a good love interest for him. It makes sense. The Chubbs is a fucking hilarious character.
All the bits with the hand were so funny.
Then he gets
and like it's all crumpled up as the movie goes on. It's really good.
The great Richard Kiel is the fucking Mr. Larson, the construction foreman, the tall guy. It's so
hilarious.
Funny. Just
I'll see you in the park. Like, you remind me of that dude. That was
you can count, and you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot.
Huge laugh on that one.
Just hilarious.
Just like, but I'm saying, like, I miss Adam Sandler having a temper.
Yeah.
Like when he hits the fucking clown's nose at the mini golf thing.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Joe Flaherty as the
Jackass. So good.
I forgot the name of the chain restaurant, but when Shooter pays him, he's like, hey, you want to go to Applebee's or something like that? Bennigan's or something like that.
Something like that,
He's like, no, I have to go. Like, we could be friends, can't we? And I'm sorry, dude. I was reading online that Bob Barker refused a stunt double.
Oh, really?
It's actually him.
Yeah.
Dude, it's hilarious.
It's really funny.
The way he's just fucking...
He has that old style punch
man,
style.
Whacking him, the sound effects. It's great. I predicted in that video, in our last movie catch-up, that Drew Carey will be in Happy Gilmore 2. Didn't know that Drew Carey is in the Adam Sandler. He's in Jack and Jill.
Oh,
Jill
is he?
goes on The Price is Right. So your in is already there. It's there.
You almost have to do that.
You have to do it. If he doesn't, I'll be like, no.
Like, so I heard you have a problem with the Price is Right hosts. They're happy.
Yeah.
No, Drew, I don't want any. No. Oh, yeah, dude. Holy God. Oh my God. I saw some people on because I was struggling with the name for the daughter. Some people on Patreon were saying Joy Gilmore.
Joy would be good.
And I'm like, that's fucking pretty good.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Not bad.
I still think that it's either that or he's going to coach like Chubbs' daughter or something like that.
There's got to be a Chubbs factor. There's Shooter, obviously.
Shooter. But this is, I mean, dude, it's a tight movie. It's 92 minutes. Dennis Dugan directed it. I mean, it's just, it moves quick. All the jokes land. It actually makes sense.
Yes.
It's like a hockey player that sucks at hockey, but he can hit a golf ball. But he sucks at putting, so they have to do the mini golf training. Like,
and it's fun watching him do those killer drives.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about that. It has that sound effect.
yes.
It's a good movie.
So I'm going to run down with you what I have to do for next time.
And we're just going to do another one of these?
Yeah, I mean, why don't you watch like Spanglish or something?
I've seen Spanglish.
Well, watch. What can we watch? The Hustle, maybe? I don't know.
I'll look through it. Maybe I'll just watch Punch Drunk Love again.
You know who he's married to in The Hustle?
No.
Queen Latifah. It works.
Okay.
All right. Again, so these are. All right. Here's the thing. Do I count Airheads? Because right now I'm counting Airheads.
Fuck. We should just do that as like an almost cult classic. Maybe. Airheads was funny as shit.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, let's just save that one. You can feel free to watch it. I like Airheads a lot.
All right. So
It's where he probably hooks up with Buscemi.
including Airheads, we've got Sandy Wexler, which you were watching. I was watching when you came in
I'm not
today.
gonna be watching
I was
Sandy Wexler.
amazed at the 2-hour and 10-minute runtime.
Can't do it, man.
He's got this movie with Chris Rock called The Week of. Look at this. Have you seen this?
Yes, that's it's recent. These Chris Rock,
2018. I've never
Chris
seen that.
Chris Rock was like struggling with his marriage, and I feel like he was making a bunch of movies where
About
he struggled with his marriage.
marriage.
And I'm like, dude, I don't care.
All right, so Sandy Wexler, The Week of. I have 8 Crazy Nights.
I'm not. I'm probably good on that.
The Do-Over. It's a Sandler and Spade movie.
Yeah, I'm probably all right there.
The Ridiculous Six.
I'm not gonna watch that.
Little Nicky.
I'm not gonna watch that. Have fun.
Anger Management.
Yeah, I didn't love that. I remember Nicholson was all right in that. It's another one though where it's like the plot. It's almost like a slave to its plot a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he's got to get the girl, and I'm like, can you just make Billy Madison? Just make Happy Gilmore.
Bedtime Stories.
That's gonna be a no.
You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
I remember. You know what? I might. I've never seen that before. I remember my dad liking that.
I mean,
think.
you got this Israeli military.
Yeah,
there
Mossad
might be
guy,
something
and
there.
but he's a hairdresser.
He's a
and
hairdresser.
He's playing kind of a. I know there's another one where he's fucking everything. Oh no, he's fucking like old fat women, like
yeah.
Lainey Kazan and stuff.
There's another movie with Drew Barrymore called Blended from 2014.
Yeah, I remember that looked like dog shit. I won't be watching
I have
that.
The Wedding Singer.
I remember that movie has some good gags in it, but it's once again it's the schmaltz.
And then I have Hubie Halloween.
Yeah, I'll check that one out.
Murder Mystery 2. Grown Ups 2.
No. I'll check out Grown Ups 3. I'll do the trilogy when they finish it.
I think
I want to
that's
see
it.
them all. I want to get the full story.
Wait, you know what you should watch?
What?
Funny People.
Oh, have you seen that?
I have.
I've seen half of it, I think. Maybe I'll check it out. It's too long.
Yeah.
It's really long. It's not that good.
It's like The Great Gatsby.
What?
That's basically the plot. It's a guy lost love. She's married. They reconnect. He's got a younger like protege that's helping him out. It's The Great Gatsby.
Oh yeah, because he is big and famous then.
Yeah, and
he gets Rogan
is
to come in to write jokes
it's
for him.
basically like The Great Gatsby.
All right. I'll think about that one.
There's also you should watch The Cobbler.
I don't really. I know the plot of it, and I was like, this sounds kind of. I'm not gonna watch Reign Over Me.
No.
Yes, we'll do the second part of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I'll try to pop in there.
And let us know what your Sandler rankings, maybe in the comments, see if they align with mine and other Sandler movies you recommend checking out that aren't part of the Sandler movies. You know, like
sure
Meyerowitz stories and stuff like that.
You liked that, didn't you?
I thought it was all right,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I'd revisit it. But
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna.
That's Stiller.
Stiller's his brother. In
Okay.
it, yeah. So
right.
maybe we'll come back to some more of that stuff. But
right.
yeah, this is. I think some of the worst are out of the way.
I think so.
Maybe I've got all those Netflix fucking ones to go through. The Ridiculous.
Oh wait,
6.
yeah, never mind. No.
I'm really
a lot
no,
of the worst.
I fucked myself.
Still
The only like acclaimed one I know of is The Wedding Singer.
Wedding Singer's gonna be fine.
So I'll save that for like when I.
It's got some good gags.
Need,
I feel like Buscemi's got a good gag in that. I forget what it is.
Well, I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, you'll find out.
Well, thanks for staying with us on this Sandler discussion, and we will be back with part 2 eventually.
Thanks for listening.
It tastes like fucking dick infused with balls.